Welcome to Creating Disney Magic with Lee Cockerell, lessons in leadership, management, and customer service. You can create magic too. I'm your host, Jody Mayberry, and I'm here with Lee Cockerell. Lee, how's it going in Orlando?
Hi, Jody. All's well, thank you. We're about ready to see summer end here because it's killing us, but so far so good. We got a cooler day today and it's raining, so that's good. So we're
I,
fine.
I've heard it. I've heard it said in Florida that you have summer and summer junior, that it really just moves from summer to summer junior.
I can tell by my electric bill which one it is.
I just returned from 4 days or so in Spokane, helping teach a workshop. And I noticed some things that I thought, wow, we need to talk to Lee about this. First, I was giving someone a tour, just a walking tour of the historic Davenport Hotel in downtown Spokane. And Lee, this is one of the most unexpected beautiful hotels you will find. When you were in Spokane, I didn't get the chance to show it to you, but you got to see the resort in Coeur d'Alene, but the historic Davenport was built in 1914, designed by a famous architect with the last name Cutter. The moment I forget his first name, but he did beautiful work, and now the hotel's been there and for more than 100 years. It had a downturn where it was closed for quite a while, but it's Amelia Earhart has stayed there. Presidents have stayed there.
Huh.
The week I was there, Sammy Hagar was staying in the hotel. I mean, this is the hotel to stay in when you're in Spokane. I was giving someone a walking tour, and we went to the Hall of Doges, which won't mean anything to you because you haven't been there. The guy I was with, who was an architect, was just marveling at how beautiful it was and the detail work. And I said, yeah, it looks beautiful, but what concerns me is around the hall, there's 8 light bulbs out. And he said, 8 light bulbs out. How did you even notice that? I said, well, too much time with Lee Cockerell, I guess. So that's number one. Number two, the event center where this workshop was at, for 4 days in a row, the same small pieces of trash were in the urinal. And I thought, so the light bulbs at this really fancy high-end hotel, someone missed them. Pieces of trash in the urinal. This was a different location. Someone missed them. And I thought, this is the sort of things I look for because I've spent 10 years with Lee Cockerell. But Lee, how do you get this mindset in place that, okay, we are the historic Davenport, the best hotel in Spokane. There is no reason any light bulb, let alone 8 in one hall, should be out. How do you get that across?
Well, I think the best way is the general manager needs to be out and about, and that's what I did every day when I ran a hotel. As you know, told you in the past, I come in 6:30. I start on the top floor. I walk every floor, checking for anything that needs to be done, painted, wallpaper, trays, anything in the hallways. I worked my way down and I took notes in my day timer all the way along the way. A light bulb here, this and that, and whatever I saw. And that took about an hour to have that walk and to go to all the operations, kind of greet the employees that are coming on duty for the morning. And got back to my office. I contacted the people who were going to take care of the things I saw. Could have been a food and beverage thing. It could have been an engineer having to replace light bulbs or get something painted or whatever it was. And I did that at 11 o'clock again, and again at 5 before I went home. And, the key is I need to be, two things happened. First, there were no major issues got fixed right away from one day to the next. And second, I got to see all the employees, and they got used to knowing that details matter, and because they would be there when I would talk about it. So, and then they started helping me by telling me, because that routine I had encouraged, they were encouraged, and they knew that Lee wants to know, and they would report things to me that I didn't even see. And that's it. You just got to be very clear about your expectations for excellence, And then you got to go out there and kind of be the role model, and where people go, oh, this guy, he crazy. Let's get this fixed before he comes around, because he will notice. And or I know this has been a problem, and I can let him know, and he'll get it fixed for me, and or taken care of, or whatever. And it's that simple. You got to be in your business, out of the office, and you got to, as somebody said once, you need good eyes. You need to be able to pay attention when you're walking, not just walking along, and when you get stopped to talk to somebody, and then get back refocused on, do you see anything? And it's like any place, like you're doing. Well, that's what happened to you. You're now noticing things. Maybe you might have noticed them, but not even thought they were that important. But if you're staying in that hotel and you see 10 things like that, you're going like, I don't know, what's not as good. I wonder if their safety system works. I wonder if the fire service works. I wonder if it's worth ordering room service. You think it couldn't be that good. They don't seem to have very high standards here. So that's why it comes together, and it's got so many ramifications that you've got to. General manager sets the pace. I would say each one of those things, general manager's fault. If he's walking that hotel every day and there's still 8 light bulbs, you know, uh, he has either seen them or not made sure. Because if I see 8 of them by tomorrow, I don't want to see any. And I'll talk to my guy, and or he'll tell me we got a lift coming in on Saturday. We're going to change all the light bulbs. So yeah, that's awareness, communicating that awareness, and that communicates your level of excellence and what your expectations are. And that's life. We all have expectations, and when you raise your expectations, everything gets better. And then enforcement, making sure people know I'm not kidding around here. This has got to get done. And it could be a chafing dish, it could be something on the floor, it could be the driveway, it could be a broken mirror, whatever it is. When you walk the same route every day, you get really familiar with it too. As you know, in the wildlife, when you walk the same paths, you see new things each time that you didn't notice it before. That's what happens when you walk the same routes. And I had a system to really, literally, my eyes got to see the whole place, including the kitchens, the locker rooms for the employees, anything where our employees or guests were going. I wanted to make sure when they got out of their car, it was like, wow, it's a feeling. You don't always, when you don't see things, that's good. You have this feeling. I mean, when you walk into a place really got their act together, sparkling, you can feel it. You can feel it. And the hospitality, how they greet you, and those things too. As you walk, you're paying attention to the employees doing their jobs, and you can ask them some questions about their knowledge and what they need to learn, what they don't know, and just get out of the office. As one of my friend guys at Marriott wrote a book, you can't lead with your feet on the desk. you got
That's good.
you know, like David Crockett, get out there and lead the journey across the country, looking for new ways, new things. And I would say that GM needs a lesson there. And a lot of GM, when you become a GM, a lot of times it you don't really feel comfortable doing it, because you may have come out of one area and you don't really understand food and beverage, or you don't understand some of the maintenance stuff, so you kind of don't see it. So you don't like to walk in area. A lot of GMs don't like to go in the kitchen because they're not comfortable there. And when you're not comfortable, you don't see things as well. You're trying to make sure you get through that visit and have an interaction with your chef and go on. So you just got to really totally know your business, know the hotel, and walk it at different times of the day, because there's different employees on duty, and you're trying to influence all of them to do the job for you. And by the way, when you do that every day, the place will get better, and eventually you won't see much wrong. People will start taking care of it because they know you're coming. So they'll just do it in advance. So yeah, it's a good thing.
When you became general manager of a Marriott hotel, I'm going to assume the general manager before you did not walk the hotel
That's
two or three
right.
times a day.
He did.
So now you have a staff that is accustomed, I'll just say it, they're accustomed to average.
Yeah.
And now you come in and you won't tolerate average. You start walking the hotel 2 or 3 times a day. How did the staff take to that? How did they handle this?
Yeah, you'd think it would be might be negative. It was extremely positive because even the people in the front desk said they were embarrassed at the carpet. It was so nasty and dirty, and they were embarrassed about how the driveway looked in the morning because they had pride in their job and wanted. So I would say mostly it was very up people, and they were learning too. And so overall, and just talking to them, having meetings, talking about how we got to be better. What do you need? Tell me what I can do. What do you need? What resources? And it just becomes a part of, after 2 or 3 months you're there, it's just the new way. It's no big deal. They get used to you and you get used to them and we all get used to dealing with whatever the problems are. And people change if they got good leadership. They recognize that, and yeah. And I think one of the best things you're doing is teaching when you're walking around showing people how it looks should be for their future, and they'll have higher standards going forward too, and they'll learn that it's possible. A lot of people think, "Oh, it's just the way it is." That's not the way it is. You know, I have a drawer in my bathroom that has light bulbs in it because Priscilla immediately tells me she needs that bulb changed because it burned out. So I have the system in place. And bing, I can fix it. And so yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, it and I I like hearing that once you put in higher standards, the team was actually happy about it. Because I imagine everyone wants to be on a winning team, on a team with high standards. That's what they want to be a part of.
Yeah, and you don't want to wait for the guest to tell you, hey, this light bulbs or this thing or it's dirty or I don't want to get that from the customer. I want me to see it and my people to see it and we get it done. We keep it looking the way it should do. Like getting a rental car that's filthy dirty and they should not be. You're paying for that. You're paying for.
Yeah, there's a quote that we have in the workbook for how to build a world-class customer experience that is a Lee Cockerell quote. If you want to be average, let it go. If you want to be world-class, everything matters. And I think this is a great example. Historic Davenport is a world-class hotel, but then you walk it and you see 8 light bulbs burnt out in the same hall, and you say, "Oh, they're okay with being average." And
After
maybe
you
a
publish
guest.
this, you're going to hear from them.
Yeah, I really thought about not giving the name of the hotel. I feel like we've been very careful about that sort of thing
Yeah,
in the 10 years of this show, but then I thought, why not? I love that hotel. If me mentioning their name helps them change their light bulb, pay attention to details, then why
absolutely.
not?
You have the right to do that, of course.
Yeah, yeah. So this reminds me, Lee, we've talked in the past about we have a course called Everybody Matters. I would love to do a course, Everything Matters, related to this very thing, because I think understanding how to walk your operation, what to look for, what to do with what you find, how to enforce it, I think that could really turn organizations around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you got to, when you're insecure about walking into a business or an operation or going back where the fans are, or the water heaters and all, because you don't feel comfortable in that area. And a lot of people don't even know where they are. You grow too. The more you do that, the more you learn. And I went up in the attic, to see the pipes and what they're working. And then half this equipment we have in places, we don't even know where it is or what it looks like. Somebody's, where's the hot water come from? Well, it's down there and it comes up here and there's a way. And stoves and gas and electric and all these things that also can improve your bottom line of making sure that they're efficient and you're running them right and you got the right place and the right people and you're taking care of them so you don't have to replace them too often. You're cleaning them and changing the filters and yeah, yeah, walk your
Well,
business.
if you want to get the details of your vacation right, I would call our friends at Magical Vacation Planner. You can reach them at 407-442-2694 or go to leecockerell.com and there's a banner right there on the website. And maybe this episode has inspired Lee and I to move forward with the Everybody Matters course. You can find out more about that by watching cockerellstore.com. That's where we put everything we're working on, including the resources that don't cost anything. Now, if you have a topic you would like us to talk about, just send it to either one of us. You can find Lee at leecockerell.com. I am at jodymayberry.com. Until next week, go out and create magic for others.